Hi, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I'd like to welcome you back to my shack here in the Pacific Northwest. This is Ham Radio Live, show number 68. Happy Monday. Wow, November the 2nd already. 2020. Where'd it go? And why won't it? Sorry. We would like to ask you if you please hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon, especially the subscribe button. The subscribe button is so important. We don't monetize this. I don't monetize my channel for a purpose. It's my way of giving back. And I like to give back to people in a way that is substantial enough to say, look, even though this costs money to do, because it is about $250 for me every year just for the production software, I'd rather give back to you by teaching some ham radio to some folks that could use it and get their license. That makes me happy. You could help me a great deal by subscribing. It helps us be found in the search algorithms in YouTube and helps the show be found by people who would like to learn ham radio. Welcome to the show. Happy Monday, everybody. All right, today we're going to talk a little bit about the general exam, go over some of the exam questions. Also, we're going to preview a show for tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, a lot of people ask me, what antenna do you use? I use the AV high gain, so it's called the high gain AV 680 vertical. Here's a picture of my antenna. It is at about 33 feet. The antenna itself is 27 feet long. It's overkill. I'll be honest, it's overkill on the post. I'm really careful when I put up something like this because I want it to stay. I don't want it to go anywhere. I don't want it tipping over. So it's in concrete and it's got a nice, steel pole there that holds it up. So that's how it is. Got a few bent radials up at the top for 20 and 40, but they're straight enough and they work enough. And I'm grateful. We'll do a full show on the AV 680 high gain vertical tomorrow. It's great antenna. It'll work all the way from 80 to actually 75, 80 to 6 meters. Yeah. So just depends where you want to work on 75 or 80. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So general exam today, then we'll do some hopeful QSOs. Don't forget, CQ calling comes up this Friday night, 17:30 Pacific. Now the time is different since the time change. That makes it actually 1:30 Zulu on Saturday. So 0130 Zulu Saturday. That's when the show will start. But for us here in the United States, figure just 5:30 p.m. Pacific. You're golden. All right. First question for the general. We did the technician yesterday. Here's the general today. First question, how does the gain of a 2-element delta loop beam compare to the gain of a 2-element quad antenna? 3 decibels higher. Remember, we're talking dB is decibels, okay? B, 3 decibels lower. C, 2.54 decibels higher. Or D, about the same. They're about the same. Yeah, they're basically about the same antenna, just a different design. Okay, next question. What is the primary purpose of antenna traps? Now, this is great to show on the vertical picture because I can show you what they look like. It is to permit multi-band operation, especially on a vertical antenna. You'll find them a lot on verticals because a vertical antenna essentially is a giant pole that holds multiple antennas on it. It's kind of like an antenna tree. Look at it that way. Again, we'll take a little picture here of my high gain AV 680 vertical. This one has multiple traps because it works on multiple frequencies. Okay. So when we try and take a close look here, I'm going to try and get it a little bigger if I can. If you look carefully at the mast itself going up, you're going to see these black little, they're separators, what they are essentially. They're little black plastic little separators. Each one of those holds an antenna for the antenna. So like the main antenna goes up and then off the side has a trap. Then it holds the base and another antenna comes up from it. They're little tubes. Each tube is for a different frequency band. Then you tune the tube with an antenna analyzer to get it where you want to on frequency that you want to work. Then you do the next one and the next one, and you go on and on. So depending upon how many bands you want to work or how many bands the vertical antenna will do, your traps set the antenna so it will work multi-band, and then you just adjust the length of them. Pretty simple. Okay. Next question on the old general. We've had this one before, but here it is again. Which of the following, actually, no, this is a different one. This is a different version. They'll reword different questions in different ways. Keep that in mind. Which of the following is an advantage of using the binary system when processing digital signals? Binary means digital. Really, it's just the code that it uses to be able to communicate. Okay. So A, binary ones and zeros are easy to represent by an on and off state. B, the binary number system is the most accurate. C, binary numbers are more compatible with analog circuitry. Actually, it's the opposite. D, all of these choices are correct. Now, understand C, binary numbers are more compatible with analog circuitry. Wrong. That's totally separate. Binary and analog are different. Okay, digital and analog are a different way to do radio, essentially, all right? B looks very plausible. The binary system is most accurate. A lot of people could be tricked by that. Just remember, ones and zeros are easy to represent by an on or off state. Next question. What circuit is used to process signals from the RF amplifier and local oscillator, then send the result to an IF filter in a super heterodyne receiver? Now, first of all, most folks will need to understand super heterodyne. You'll hear most hams call it super hets. It's a receiver that has multiple stages in order to process an incoming signal. That's how they work. There's plenty of shortwave radios that do the same thing. Now, there are different stages within the super heterodyne system with which to make the signal come out your speaker, all right? So in this case, it's asking what's used from the RF amplifier stage. This is a stage in your incoming signal on a super het radio, and local oscillator, which is another stage of that, incoming signal for a super het. Then send the result to yet another stage of the IF filter in a super het. Now, this is a very confusing thing to folks because there's already 3 stages mentioned within the super het chain: RF amplifier, local oscillator, IF filter. The answer is given. B, balanced modulator. Sounds plausible. B, IF amplifier. C, mixer. D, detector. No, it is the mixer that goes between the RF amp and the local oscillator, okay? See, when you have the mixer, it mixes what's necessary between the RF amp and the local oscillator, and then it forwards it on to the incoming frequency filter in a super het receiver. That's how it works. It's just part of a chain that all works together to make your radio hear better. Super hets are great. Still, I'm still pining over that K3 someday on the desk. We'll see what happens. This one's a small one. I know it's tiny, but I had to use it because it's way too important, okay? I'm going to try and see if there's a way I can get this thing to come a little bigger. I don't know that I can, and that makes me pretty frustrated. So even if you're on full screen, it's going to be hard to see. The question is, which symbol? And we talked about schematics before. Remember, schematics are like floor plans for architects. It shows where the different rooms and different elements are, right? A schematic is something that shows where different electrical components are in a circuit. That's what they do. Well, in this schematic, it's asking the question, what does the figure G7-1, let's start over. It's small for me to read. Which symbol in figure G7-1 represents a multiple winding transformer? These are small, and I know that. So I hope you'll watch it if you're a future ham, which are the people we really focus towards on this show, or a new ham that would like to license up to general, that you'll watch this on full screen. If you do, you'll see it better, okay? The answers here are A, symbol number 4 is the multiple winding transformer, or B, symbol number 7, C, symbol 6, D, symbol 1. It is C. It's way over on the far right. It's literally, I'm going to point it for you so we can hopefully help you see it. It's right there, essentially. If you go in from here, number 6, that is the schematic for a multiple winding transformer. It's what they look like on a schematic, okay? If you look at number 4 is definitely not a multiple winder. It's not. One is what a transistor looks like. So just remember the T, remember? You look at it sideways or this way, makes a T. Transmitter, that is a, my mind just went totally blank. Sorry about that. Transistor. So remember, that's a transistor. But a multiple winding transformer is number 6. So again, for your test. Hope you look at it on full screen, because even for me, I'm on a screen that's about maybe a quarter the size of my screen, and it's hard for me to see. Sorry. Next question. Why must the cases of some large power transistors be insulated from ground? A, to increase the beta of the transistor. B, to improve the power dissipation capability. C, to reduce stray capacitance. Or D, to avoid shorting the collector or drain voltage to the ground. It is D. You don't want to have your transistor shorting out to your ground, all right? Their transistors replaced tubes long, long ago. I mean, we're talking now, wow, 60 years ago, a little less than 60 years ago. And there are multiple parts. There's a gate, there's a drain, okay? The drain is part of the transistor. You don't want it shorting towards the ground on a large power transistor. Just not a good idea. So remember, if you ever get this question, look at the word large power transistor insulated from ground. It's to avoid shorting. You never want to short. So think of ground and short, and you'll be right. Okay? Next question. This is on the current general exam for the FCC. We had this. This thing just must have been entered twice. Sorry about that. Next question. Sorry. Whoops. And now I just went to like 10 questions. You don't want 10. My goodness. It's like the whole show's idea is not to overwhelm you, and then bingo, we overwhelm you terribly. Don't want that to happen. All of a sudden, like, my screen went to like magnification 50. Which of the following is a disadvantage of using wind as the primary source of power for an emergency station? The answer is C. A large energy storage system is needed to supply power when wind isn't blowing. So that's the disadvantage of wind. Most hams actually use solar. A lot of them do when they're in the field. Tons of them do. You can get folding solar panels. Yep, they unfold them, hook them right up to a battery, get them all set up to their power supply, to their radio, tuner, and away they go. But with wind, it's difficult because the wind has to be blowing, and when it's not, you need a large battery to keep the power to your rig. That's the reason why. I'm sure technology will be growing soon, though. We'll figure it out. Hams are good at that. How can a ground loop be avoided? This is a big deal. Ground loops are terrible, especially in an RF chain. It's also something that you can get tons of interference from. A, connect all ground conductors in series. This sounds very plausible. B, connect the AC neutral conductor to the ground wire. This is essentially going into your house wiring and connecting a neutral conductor to the ground. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Never. Don't touch it. C, avoid using lock washers and star washers when making ground connections. D, connect all ground connections to a single point. Yes, always connect every bit of your ground conductors to a single point. What does that look like? If you have a tuner, an amplifier, a radio, you have them all set up, you hook them to one place on your ground. That's it. Shortest ground connection as possible. That means wherever your ground is, make a short connection. Then connect everything together at the same place. If you start connecting things like here, 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 and here, what happens is you get ground loops between all those connections. Just don't do it. Okay? So connect all your grounds to the same place. Next question that's here. What does an S meter measure? S meter. A, conductance. B, impedance. C, received signal strength. Or D, transmitter power output. Now, let me give you something here. The answer is C. It's received signal strength. That's why I call it an S meter. Signal strength meter. It's an S meter. On a lot of S meters, in fact, most S meters, when you look at a radio, I'm going to move the stationary cam here just a skosh so you can take a good look at my S meter on the Yaesu FTDX 101. Okay. Now we'll hopefully get a good view of it here. All right, there we go. Okay, now I know the plastic's on it. Let me try and move up here. That might be a little bit better. There we go. That's much better. Okay, there's the S meter at the top. You see it, the needle moving around. The top is S. That's signal strength. So when a signal comes in, that number increases. Below it, though, is the power meter. So when it transmits on this radio and most, that needle goes up to tell what your power output is. So you see, that could be very confusing to people because it's basically on the same meter, right? Now, this is why you don't want to answer it the wrong way. So when you're tuning your radio and all of a sudden you find a signal, that S meter is going to go up, okay? Watch. Let's see if we can tune a signal. Found one here. See? There you go. So the S needle moves because you're on a signal, excuse me. And because you're on a signal, there's a transmitted power, and that's where we get our numbers from. So when we're talking to hams, right, where we're making a contact, one of the first things people ask is they say, hey, that's a 5-9. 5 meaning very intelligible. 9's the number on that S meter. Okay, when you read the S meter, it's 0 through 9, then it gives you plus numbers. That's how that works. Tex-Mex Chef. 10-4, Roger, copy. It's like CB. 10-4, good buddy. Sir IQ, welcome back. Just having fun. Tex-Mex, now I'm hungry. Goodness sakes, are you really a Tex-Mex chef? I'd like a recipe. Give me a recipe, would you? I love Tex-Mex. Man, it's dinner time too. We better hurry and get to these questions so I can eat. All right, next question. Sorry, guys. Again, on the general exam, trying to help you get on the air, trying to help you move up if you're a technician in the U.S. The next one, what is one advantage? And this is a cool trick. What is one advantage of selecting the opposite or reverse sideband? Meaning if you're on, say you're on 40 meters and you want to work a CW signal. Okay, I don't know if you know this, you can go to upper sideband to help to eliminate interference from other signals coming in. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the question reads, what is one advantage of selecting the opposite or reverse sideband when receiving? Keep in mind, receiving CW signals on a typical HF transceiver. A, interference from multiple impulse noise will be eliminated. B, more stations can be accommodated within a given signal passband. C, it may be possible to reduce or eliminate interference from other signals. Or D, accidental out-of-band operation can be prevented. This one looks plausible. Keep in mind they use the words out of band. Out of band. Now that means if you're on 40, you would be not getting any interference from maybe 80 or 20. It's impossible. It doesn't work that way. So remember, D is just, that's to throw you off. C, it basically reduces possible interference from other CW signals. You'll find this more during contests when you have a CW contest. That's cool. Look, I'm not a chef, but I play one on YouTube. It's pretty fun. That's awesome. I love that. All right. Well played, sir. All right. Next question. Got just a few more. What signals are used to conduct a two-tone test? Two audio signals of the same frequency shifted 90 degrees. So the tone would sound different if it was that way. B, two non-harmonically related audio signals. C, two swept frequency tones. Or D, two audio frequency range square wave signals of equal amplitude. Remember, B, two non-harmonically related audio signals. Non-harmonically. That means that they don't harmonize. Remember that. Simple to remember. So when you got two-tone tests, they don't harmonize. Think of your favorite a cappella group. Simple to remember. Next questions. Only 4 more. What does MUF stand for? MUF is something you'll see a lot on frequency or propagation forecasts. All right, so MUF means maximum usable frequency. Its cousin is LUF, lowest usable frequency, okay? So this question, what does MUF stand for, is B, the maximum usable frequency for communications between 2 points. don't get confused between the one that says a 24-hour period, because they don't know what it's going to be in 24 hours. They don't. And there's no way to predict it for sure. They can just say right now, you can get this frequency as the highest frequency to make contact point to point. Okay? Not during 24 hours. Next to, let's see, I guess it's third to last. What is a characteristic of HF scatter? So HF scatter signals are when signals basically, like if you're working 6 meters and you're working E-skip, okay, HF scatter signals are basically supercharged clouds of ions in the ionosphere. Kind of like we see clouds in the sky, but they're supercharged clouds of ions. We just don't see them there. Right now, we can do E-skip. It's a good time to do E-skip. So E-skip is possible on 6. A, they have high intelligibility. B, they have a wavering sound. C, they have very large swings in signal strength. Or D, all these choices are correct. The answer is B, they have a wavering sound. The reason they have a wavering sound on HF scatter is because you're hearing them from multiple paths, okay? Think of it like I said, you have that cloud, right? We see clouds in the sky, it's simple, but we don't think of the ionosphere, okay? The ionosphere you can't see. All it is charged ions within the Earth's atmospheric field. Basically, there's the troposphere, the stratosphere, the ionosphere, and so forth. But the point is, the ionosphere is what we use for HF signals to bounce our signals or skip them from one station to another. Well, when you get in the ionosphere, there can be little clouds supercharged of ions. When your signal hits those, it basically shoots them out in a lot of directions. That's why it makes a wavering sound, because your receiver picks it up from multiple paths. That's the answer. Pretty simple way to explain it. So again, it's coming from a supercharged cloud of ions in the atmosphere. Last quote, 2 questions. Volunteer examiners are accredited by what organization? A, the FCC. B, the Universal Licensing System. C, a volunteer examiner coordinator. Or D, the Wireless Telecommunications Bureau. The answer is C. It's a volunteer examiner coordinator. A VEC, as they're called, volunteer examiner coordinator, is a person that tests people who want to be volunteer examiners and trains them to help coordinate tests. Remember, you need to have 3 volunteer examiners in your test to make sure that you can pass it and it'll be legal. So the VEC has to make sure that those people know the rules of giving the test, grade it correctly, and then turn it into the proper person, which is the VEC. All right. So the FCC doesn't give them any accreditation. It's the volunteer examiner coordinator that it does. Last question. With which foreign countries is third-party traffic prohibited, except for messages directly involving emergencies or disaster relief communications? Countries in ITU Region 2, countries in ITU Region 1, every foreign country unless there is a third-party agreement in effect with that country. Or D, any country which is not a member of the International Amateur Radio Union. Now, the ARRU is just a group of people that come from different countries, and they help to talk about radio frequencies, how to allocate them to amateurs and for commercial broadcasters, things like that. But in this case, third-party traffic, okay, meaning it comes from one station to another, then transferred to another third party. Now, look at how this is written, because it's a trouble question. This one's a trouble question. It's because of the pronouns in it. With which foreign countries is third-party traffic prohibited? That's part of it. So you can't make any third-party contact. But if there's an emergency, you can. You cannot contact any ham in any country unless there is a third-party agreement in effect with that country. Keep this in mind. This is a trick question. One of the trick questions is on the test. There currently are no countries that we do not have a third-party agreement with in the United States. How, and one would think, well, maybe what about this country or that country? No, under the current way things are, there aren't any. So that's something we don't worry about. But if it were to happen, remember, We have to have an agreement in place, and you'll know if there isn't one because you'll be notified as a ham. You will be, okay? All right. How are you today? It's Monday, the 2nd of October, 2020. Election season's almost over. Thank goodness. All right. Sorry. Ready to go back to normal life. Let's take a look at the rig, see what's going on. It's kind of getting a little late here. We're at 4:43 in the afternoon Pacific. Don't forget, on Fridays, CQ calling. We'll be live on 40 meters. Not sure on the frequency because honestly, contesting. That's the reason why. So it can change, but we will be somewhere above 7.175 because we want to make sure that the generals can take part in this, and we want to make sure everybody can have some fun. So we're going to move over to 40 right now, and we'll see what we can shake up maybe and make a few calls and wrap the show up. Again, try and do the best we can to, get people on the air and help them get licensed. That's the whole idea. Who's got a signal right there? Audio today again from the Heil.
Zero Mike Romeo, Roger.
This has come from the Heil Parametric Receive Audio System. You can get this at your local ham radio shop.
Checking. All right, we've got you as Monty. Welcome to the NATANet. You're in Colorado, so one of our relays is in Colorado.
So we have a net. We're going to get away from the net. We don't want to do that. Nets are something we try and stay away from because they do their own thing. And some nets are about safety, some are about weather, some are about lots of stuff. But unless we already told them we're coming, we just rather not do it.
And I've gotten used to being home all the time.
Let's make a few calls here on 40 meters today. How are you? You having a good day? I hope so. I hope you are. I really mean that. Tomorrow's show will be reviewing for gosh sakes, I bought the darn thing too. This is the high gain AV680 vertical antenna. This is a great antenna, 6 to 75 or 80. It's got a tapping coil at the top where you basically tune it from the ground. You get it a little bit up. You don't put it on the ground and do it. You get it up a little bit high, and then you tune it to the part of the 75, 80 meter band that you want to work it. So that's going to be tomorrow's show.
Anyway, 92 Fahrenheit today. The sun is setting in the west, and it's down to a balmy, chilly 87 right now. Over.
Oh, boy. Kilo 7 Hotel November. 87. Got to be Arizona.
If it gets below 75 out here, we put our winter coats on.
Oh, stop. We got to make this call just to feel warmer. So again, we are live right now on the, this is on the, hold on, let's hear him.
In the polar vortex and the pipes freezing and all that, us freezing and driving in the snow and ice. So we did good driving in the snow. It's just the other guy that you had to watch out for. So we came out here and, it doesn't snow in Phoenix, so I'm happy about that. All right, pal, you take care, stay healthy.
There we go.
Enjoy your retirement, my friend, and we'll look for you again. WV0YCQ, W0RIC73.
We've talked to him before. We've talked to Whiskey Zero, Romeo, India, Charlie. We talked to him Sunday on 20 meters. He was talking with some folks in Japan and Caribbean.
Side of the beam, man. You must have tuned the amplifier up. Yeah, I did. Do you hear Baron?
See if we can get this the right way. So this is how you'd call a station you already know is there, that you spoke with before maybe, just to make a direct call. Let's wait for his call to finish though.
Baron, do you hear Steve in Denver?
K7HN.
No, Baron there, Steve. Hold on hang on a second, Steve. Let me pick up the other station before I turn the antenna. Who was the 7?
Hello again. My goodness. Whiskey Zero, Romeo, India, Charlie. It's Kilo 7 Hotel November. My gosh, we're back on YouTube again. Saw you. I was like, I know that guy. My goodness, we just spoke together. How are you, Rick?
Hey, Larry. Thanks for the email and the link. That's awesome.
Well, no problem. We're grateful to have done that. And I just wanted to say a quick hello while we were on the show. I saw the call. I was like, oh, we got to talk to him. He's saying it's 87 degrees outside, for gosh sakes.
It was 92 today. I was out earlier cleaning the garage out, blowing all the dust, and I had to crank up my air compressor. I hadn't used it all summer long. So I had that all cranked up, and I was blowing all the dead bugs and crickets outside so the birds would eat the dried crickets. Over.
Roger that, man. Oh, that's funny. And you know, it's that time of year. Oh, Phoenix is so beautiful from now until March, April. Oh, listen, I'll let you go, buddy. I don't want to keep you. I was hearing you with some other folks. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I'll send you another copy of this show, Rick. Thanks for being on it. Radio India Charlie, Kilo 7 Hotel November. All the best from the Northwest, buddy. God bless you.
Okay, Larry, thanks, pal. You take care. And real quick before you go, do you hear Steve KA0 Echo Mike Delta in Denver?
Yeah, I believe I do, actually. I heard him coming back to you. By the way, Rick, you're a 5'9 plus 10, so you're strong. But Steve, if you'd like to make a quick hello, I'd love to say hi to you.
Hey, buddy. My name is Steve. I'm in Denver. My call is
Thank you, Steve. Is that Kilo Oscar 0 Echo Oscar Echo? Roger that. Okay, got you. Kilo Oscar 0 Echo Oscar Delta. QSL?
Kilo Alpha 0.
Kilo Oscar 0. Yep, thank you. Yeah, I think I said that the wrong way. I'm sorry. My mind and my writing, I wish I could get them to work together. I've got to have a meeting with them when this is over. Steve, how's the weather in Denver today? $78 degrees in November. Are you kidding me? Wow. Hey, I'm telling you, you better ride that wave while you can because it won't last forever. Holy moly. Good for you, Steve. Well, it's wonderful to meet you. Rick, thanks for introducing us. I appreciate it. Steve, I'll send you a copy of the show as well. Okay, I promise, buddy. Thanks for being on it. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I'm going to clear the frequency. Thanks, guys.
Okay, and correct this call is Kilo America 0. KA0 Echo Mike Delta. KA0 Emergency Medical Doctor.
Yep, I got it. Kilo America 0 Echo Mike Delta. Thank you very much, Rick. 73, fellas. Kilo 7 Hotel November. All the best. See you later.
73, Larry. K7810 in the group. W0RC. Ciao.
There you go. All right. And that's fun, right? Quick show. We got 30 minutes. That's fun. So a 30 and we're quick. We got a few QSOs and we help some generals, I hope, as well. Really, that's the whole point. Good stuff coming, by the way. We will have, are you ready for this? This is really big. I mean, this light is killing me. Sorry. Now it's better. Way too bright. Sorry. Ray Novak. Ray Novak is a sales man. He's like one of the big guys at Icom North America. He's going to be joining us this Thursday at noon on the show to answer your questions about Icom radios. That new 705, 7610, 7300. If it's on your wish list for Christmas, Ray's going to be here to take your questions. That's coming up this Thursday at noon Pacific. And then, of course, CQ Calling, the show where we just make calls as much as we can. We'll ride the wave as long as we can. That comes up this Friday night, 5:30 Pacific. That's 17:30. Or if we transfer it over to Zulu, we're at 1:30 Zulu time Saturday, technically. That's where you'll find the show. 40-meter band above 7.175. I know, contesters wall to wall. We'll find a place, God willing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, get that license. Let's get you licensed up, and let's enjoy this hobby together. We want to get you on the air. Thanks, everybody. God bless you. Bye-bye.